Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Crazy Bookish Asians Book Review. I think from the title of our meeting, this is now our 12th episode. Wow, this is now our 12th book. So we've had like 3 rounds now because
One
for
year.
those, oh my God, you're right. It is 1 year because for those tuning in, we actually, each one of us take turns picking a book for us to read. And this month happens to be my turn. Before I talk about the book, I guess we should do a quick intro yeah, for the people in the room. So I'll just go clockwise based on whoever's in my screen. So Lainey,
Hello, I'm Lainey. I'm one of the crazy bookish Asians.
and then the second crazy bookish Asian is Emmy.
Hello. Hello. I'm Armar. Nice to be back here with you guys.
And last but not least, Lisa.
Hello. I'm the last one. connected by marriage.
By
Right. Awesome. So again, welcome. And we'll dig right in. And I'm doing the hosting this month because I picked the book. I picked this book because I know it is Pride Month for a lot of countries in the world. Here in the West Coast in BC, we don't have ours until August actually. But I know when I picked this in June, it was Pride Month for a lot of the cities and in Canada and US. So without further ado, the book that I picked. Oh, I don't have it. If somebody can hold up the cover,
No,
if you have.
it's okay. I'm gonna
Emmy has
post
it.
it up.
Perfect.
Oh, okay.
So it is The Lady's Guide to Celestial Mechanics by Olivia Waite. So just a quick synopsis on this one. So this is about Lucy, who I think shortly after the wedding of her ex-lover, like without finding out that she was getting married. So I guess because of that, she took on she responded um, to a request to translate a book by a countess who's located in London. So she took on that job without thought and packed her bag, went to London, and worked with Catherine, the Countess of Moth, I think, whatever her title is. Um, so it is about her. So it's about Catherine, I guess, supporting and like funding and mentoring Lucy, and then I guess Lucy going on with her work, and then I guess interpreting whatever she needs to interpret. And I think along the way, you you know they start developing feelings for each other, and also I guess just like any issues around women, like women's issues, there's always the challenge around the women's place in society, women's place in the world. So this is a historical romance based in the I think like what, late 1800s. So
I think it's 1816 exactly. I think that was the
early
date at the
1800s,
beginning.
So
I
Yeah.
guess,
19th,
right?
19th
So
century, I guess, right?
yeah, so it's interesting that issues in the 18th century are still issue in the 22nd century. Yeah, here we are. Um, I guess for people who are not used to it, but the crazy bookish Asians, when I start saying that I have a lot of thoughts on this book, um, yeah, so it means one thing. But usually as the host, we always like want to be the host always goes last. So without further ado, let's get right into what people feel about this. So I guess let's start with you, lady.
I feel like I started last time.
Did you? Okay, so let's
Yes.
reverse it. Let's start with I'll go counterclockwise this time. Let's start with Lisa.
Oh, me. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I have a lot of thoughts about this book too as well. First of all, I cannot stand historical romance. I'm just going to lay it out there. Cannot stand historical romance. And I also do not like FF romance, female romance. For some reason, I just can't get into it. For some reason, I love MM romance, but I just cannot get into female to female romance. I don't know why. Not a prejudice, not a discrimination. If you like it, great, right? Just not for me. So I really struggled to read this book. I basically, every time I saw Emmy, did you read the book? Did you read the book? Sure. Her bobblehead, right? I was like, I'm only at 4%, right? So I struggled all this week to read it. I finally finished it at 3 a.m. on Friday after a marathon of, laying there on my couch to finish it. Um, so I had a really hard time in the beginning of the book. Um, I just couldn't connect because I'm not an historical romance fan. So I just really couldn't connect with all the how she wrote it, and I couldn't really connect with the characters. I didn't like either woman, and not that I hated them, right? But it was just like I was sort of like neutral with both of them. Um, and uh, I just thought like when there was that break between them in towards the end of the book, I thought that was really stupid, and I was just it didn't make sense to me why it happened. I didn't understand it. I was like, oh, what kind of story am I reading? Right? And then for it to be resolved so quickly, I was like, what? Great. In there, right? So, on top of being tortured by reading the book, because I had such a hard time reading through it, I just couldn't understand why they had that break, right? Got back together so quickly. I was like, okay, that was weird, right? So, I thought the science was very interesting. That part, I thought that was very interesting. Astronomers and botanical, whatever science. But I was a little confused. I was like, is this about astronomy or is this about gardening? Or is this about plants or is it about, like, I was not sure, right? So I was a little confused. So that could have been part of like why it was hard for me to read through the book, right? Um, Overall, it wasn't as spicy as I thought it could be, but there was some scenes. She didn't like. I found the author not super descriptive, and it could be because it was historical romance. So
Mm-mm.
when the
No,
ladies are
sorry, I'll
when the
just put it
late.
out there, Lisa. It's her. It's not because it's historical
Oh, okay.
romance.
So I don't know,
It's
right?
her.
I don't read them, so I have no idea, right? And I just had a hard time sort of connecting to the way they spoke and just the timing. I think it is because I don't read historical romance, right? Or yeah, I don't. Not even in the genre, I don't read historical
Mm.
romance. It's just not like I said, it's not my thing, right? So it was, a good eye opening for me. So I struggled to read the book. I'm going to be honest there. I struggled to read the book.
Hey.
But yeah, so every time I saw Emmy, I'm like, bobblehead, yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
question mark. Oh,
yeah.
I'm still trying to finish.
Oh
So
my God.
So for
Well,
me, so
that.
for so for me overall, the book was just it was okay. I mean, it wasn't. I would not read any of her books again, and it didn't really grab. Like maybe towards the end, it sort of grabbed me, but I just was like blah about the ending. I was like, really? That's the ending? I'm like, okay. So there we go. My first foray into historical romance and female to female romance. I might read a contemporary female to female. I'm not going to eliminate it completely, but I don't think I could do historical again. But
No.
unless you pick it again, then of course I will.
No.
So there. That's my
Sounds
review.
good. Awesome. Yeah. No,
So
good thought,
sad.
Lisa. Good thought. Yay. Awesome. All right. So I guess now it'll be who is in my screen? Emmy.
Okay. So I think I'm the opposite, Lisa. So I really like this book. And right off the bat, I'm going to say I don't really consider this historical romance. I have read historical romance before, but very rarely, like in terms of steamy book. Like I think remember, I don't know if you remember, Loisa, you recommended Sylvia Day to me a few years ago. Like she had, and
Yes.
I actually
Yes.
really did love that one. But um, otherwise, I don't really read historical romance. So when I read this, I really had no expectations, but I actually did end up liking it. And like I said, though, I won't consider it historical romance. I just consider it historical fiction, just because I did think it wasn't steamy at all. Like even some of the stuff, the sex scenes are supposed to be, I guess. She just kind of.
Why do you have to?
I am
Why do you have to
testing
spell
if
it?
you
She
can.
has children.
Okay.
She has
Because
children.
she has young adults in
Oh,
the room.
You have to spell it.
I just don't feel.
Okay.
I don't
Emmy,
feel
Emmy,
comfortable
Emmy.
saying it. Okay. All right.
Thanks. You're talking about thanks.
So Emmy, you know why I was bobblehead whenever you spoke to me? I felt, I knew you liked the book. I could feel it. I could actually sense it. So that's why I was bobblehead, like, yeah. You like the book. I could tell you like the book. So that's why I was like very vague when you asked me. I was like,
My
yeah,
goodness.
right. But I'm like, I think
I
she
did,
likes the
yeah.
book. I'm pretty
So
sure.
I do. There is some parts
Oh.
I didn't.
And we'll say it for you, Emmy. Sex.
So there are some parts I didn't like, but most like I have notes as always. So the parts I didn't like,
Okay.
basically, well, first of all, some parts dragged for me. I thought some parts were unnecessary, even though I really loved the way she described, like the setting and stuff like that. In terms of some events, I think like when Lucy and Catherine ended up going back to Lucy's hometown, I thought that was like, okay, I guess they had to show that to show Lucy meeting her ex girlfriend, right? Yeah. So I guess,
Yes.
but I feel like
Pris.
yeah, Pris.
Like, I hate that.
But
Pris.
otherwise,
Oh, I hated her.
yeah,
I hated
otherwise,
her.
like I thought
Pris.
that scene was
Annoying.
like unnecessary.
No. Pris was
Yeah.
pissing me off.
And so also the chemistry of the characters, yeah, like I kind of agree with Lisa in a way that because I didn't really find the two of them too likable, in a way that how you fall in love with some characters off the bat when you start reading about them. But I find with Lucy and Catherine, they're just meh for me. So I think that's why, in terms of chemistry, I didn't think there was a lot of that. So that was like a negative for me. And also, this is just really like stupid, but in terms of the actual book itself, I did not like this cover at all. Like, I thought like this is something, I think if I'm reading it on the subway, I'd be kind of embarrassed, honestly, to have it out. And I don't know, just
Too
yeah.
literal.
Like, okay, the fact
Or-
that the book talked about like astronomy, embroidery, and stuff like that, they could have done so much as a cover. Like even if they just did the actual cover of the Celestial Mechanics book, something like that with the
Yeah.
stars, or even just
Right.
like a gown, or like a 19th century gown, and I will show you
Embroidered
guys
or
later on.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because those are actually
Yeah.
the parts I really love. So now, okay, we will go to the parts I really loved. I did think this was so well done in terms of writing. That's why I didn't really think of this as a romance, because the way it was written like a historical fiction. Like I thought it caught the voice. Like it's very Jane Austen like in terms of the actual dialogue and the actual description of the scene. Like it actually did remind me of 19th century London, right? So, and I was so surprised to find out that she's actually American. Like I thought she was actually a British author. Yeah,
No, she's
so I thought that
American.
was
She's from
so
Yeah.
cool.
she's from
Yeah,
Washington.
because she works.
Washington
She's
State, I
also
think, yeah.
like worked for New York Times and
She
stuff
works
like
for
that,
like
right?
and
Yeah,
Seattle
the
something
Seattle
doing
Review.
something else over
And
there.
then, like I thought it was so beautifully written. A lot of the parts, especially when Lucy was talking about her the translation of Allron's work. Allron.
All
Oh,
around.
Okay, I will talk now. The actual translation. Okay, I will read it because I really love this part. It's very poetic. Alone of all living things, mankind dares to look up from the earth and dream of other worlds. Those worlds, however distant, are connected to ours by a force so vast and ubiquitous that it went unthought of for most of history. Blah 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 blah. And then, I speak, of course, of the power of gravitation, whereby the attractive force between two bodies is mutual and equivalent, whatever the difference of mass between them. And, in a way, she was also talking about the relationship with Catherine, like how she feels about her, even from that moment. And I thought it was just so well done. Like the whole prose of the book. And I also like how it started in media res, like, it started in the middle of the action, how it started with Priscilla's wedding. Like, you didn't get that stupid boring introduction to the characters. It started right
Right.
where
Mhm.
I thought the meat of the story would be, like, with her having her heartbreak because of the wedding, right? And then what
Mhm.
else did I write here? um I also like the minor characters, Mr. Frampton, Mr. Brinkworth, the butler, and Marsh and Mrs. Griffin. Like, I thought those, even though they're very, what do you call? Uh,
Minor.
Like,
Minor.
We're all like blank. We're waiting for
they're just
Emmy to find
very,
the words.
like, almost stereotypical. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of minor characters, but I think they were so well done, and they really support the story, especially the story of Aunt
Right.
Marsh. And how, she was really involved with Catherine's mom. I thought that was a nice
Yeah.
addition to the story. So I really like that part.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and the twist. I also like the twist in the end with Laurent being a woman. That was
Mm.
oh,
so well done.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
Okay, I
I
gotta
didn't see.
admit,
I
I
didn't
like
see
that
that
part.
coming.
I gotta
Yeah.
admit, I like
Yeah.
that part.
And
Yeah.
also, like,
Yeah.
okay, so the talk about astronomy and embroidery and all that stuff, I really did love. And I have a magazine here, on Sewing Fred's magazine.
Oh my God. I did
Oh my
think of
God.
you, Emmy, when I
The
all that
embroidery talk. So it reminded me
embroidery.
of, in England, apparently this was, well, I don't know if it's just in England, but during the 19th century, they would actually have these books. And this one is just talking about, it's like a swatches of fabric that this lady did.
Oh, so it
Oh
is
my
a
God, that
real
was
Oh,
so
okay.
cool.
I
thing.
figured.
So it's like basically the book had like just swatches of fabric, right? So instead of embroidery, this lady had that, but it reminded me of that. And look at the embroidery of this gown. I don't know if you guys can see. So it reminded me a lot. So just when they talk
Right.
about that part.
Well, you should also mention that you like
Also, yeah, yeah. Well,
sewing,
yeah, I
and you
do
really,
sew. So
obviously.
maybe that's why.
I mean, that probably makes a
Yeah.
big
So I think you're right.
difference.
You're right.
Right, and then there's the science. So, and like, so science and
But
embroidery.
did you
So I wonder who's
But did you
Ali
guys like
up,
that too
like,
about the stars
so
and
up.
stuff like that?
I
Yeah,
did
the
actually.
way
You're right.
it's
No,
actually something
yeah,
that even
yeah.
us as lay people can understand. Talking about Orion and all that, and how that especially during that time, So I thought it was so cool. And Loisa, you actually did discuss this in the beginning as well. I also like the fact that it discussed not just, this issues, but the patriarchal society. Like, I thought that was so well done. The way, and you're right, the fact that this thing still exists now, but especially back then, like how hard it was for women scientists, like, what I mean, to be seen and heard by society and to be taken seriously. I love that. Actually, I really like this book. Like, surprisingly, it's the romance that I thought was just like she could have really left that out and just made it like historical fiction. But yeah, otherwise, I really love that book. Aside from those minor complaints that I had, it's really well done. I love that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Another
Thank
good
you. Thank you.
thought.
Thank you.
Thanks, Emmy. And I guess over to you, Lainey.
All right. So I'm probably in Lisa's camp with this one. I literally finished the book this morning. I woke up early so I could. I had to finish it.
Okay, okay, you're a little better. I was telling Joe last night. I'm like, oh my God,
Oh
I
my
don't
God.
think I can finish this book.
It.
And yes, I don't. And Joe's like, just power through it. I'm like, I'm gonna have to, because
I
I
know.
picked the book.
I know. Like, I literally felt I had to. Okay, but in honor of the book, I'm wearing some. On the botany, I'm wearing some good design. I actually chose this on purpose, like some leaves, and they talk about plants. And I was looking for brandy, but we
right,
don't
right.
have brandy. But this kind of looks like brandy. So, I mean, I'm honoring the book that way, but otherwise, I hated it.
Oh no.
What?
It was honestly okay. It was so boring for me. Like, it just. I didn't feel any chemistry with the characters. Like I just felt like, oh, this it's more friendly than anything. So I'm like, I feel like it should not be sold as a romance. When I'm like, it's just like I don't understand attraction. It's almost, and it's just like, oh, I felt like they're almost see each other as sisters. We're just fooling around. Like that's
I know, it's kind of gross to me.
Can you say at least like friends, like or like distant cousins?
she almost acted like an older sister.
She was a mentor, not an older
Yes.
sister.
No, I mean, okay. So here's the thing. I was just like, okay, first of all, so Catherine. I mean, I knew she didn't know she was gay. But it's almost like she accepted it so easily too. I was almost like, really, I feel like there would have been more of a struggle mentally, like in that time period, if you've never experienced it ever, and you're like, oh God, I'm gay. Like it's like.
God, trust Lainey and her simple thoughts. I'm like, oh, I'm gay.
But like she accepted. I mean, fine. She accepted it so easily. Not like there should be like fine. A little bit of a pull would have been like,
Right,
would have
that's
been
true too, right? It's like
would have been
because, like,
expected.
yeah.
Like I feel like she would have fought it a little bit just because it's so new. She never experienced it. And it's like I feel like you would have questioned the feelings more realistically.
I was gonna say she realized, oh, if my mom was gay, so I must be too.
It was too convenient that your mother happened to be gay as well. Like I just felt it was so convenient. Like oh, it's like
We just tell people we talk about spoilers.
Sorry.
Do that.
Spoil- oh my God.
Disclaimer.
Spoiler alert. Oh yeah, like sorry. But yeah, it's like I just felt like there's a lot of convenience that just kind of like happened about. But I have to admit, I did like the astronomy part of it. Like I feel like it's bad when I enjoy that more than the actual story though, right? Like for a historical romance. And what's her name? Pris. Every time I saw the word Pris, I was like, oh my God, just call her Priscilla. Like Pris is not a good nickname. It's like not a good nickname.
Sounds like piss.
It's not a good nickname for somebody. And and okay, on top of that, you're right. And I know, I feel like I'm butchering this one. Not only am I dumbing it down for everybody, but it's like the sex. Come on, like all they did was touch each other. Like there's other ways to like. Oh, I guess there was a couple.
It
There
wasn't
was
smutty enough for you, was
no,
it?
it wasn't. It wasn't. Okay, I haven't read historical, but I used to read historical romance, and they are so smutty. Like, because the whole point is that all this pent up kind of passion is hidden. They kind of unleash it in the bedroom because they can't do it in public. But this one is like, oh my God, they're boring in bed too. On top of it, it's like. On top of being boring in real life, they're boring in bed. It's like
In line though, can you imagine if they're boring characters and then
guess.
they're like super spicy in bed?
that would have made it better for me. I feel like that would have made it better. I mean, I did like the whole like the fellowship and all that. I did enjoy the astronomy part. Actually, was well done because it got me really invested in it and the embroidery. I actually was looking at like, oh, 19th century embroidery. What did they look? I was actually because I was like, I wanted to see what their fashion was. I'm like, I'm more interested in the fashion than like. But no, I swear to God, I would read it. I would read a chapter, but it felt like a job to read this book, though. It didn't.
No.
I didn't-
Agree. I felt the same way. I felt the same way.
I didn't enjoy it. I felt like it was like a job to do that I had to like push through.
I was so hopeful because Emmy said, "Oh, it's a quick read. Like it's only so many pages." And then when I'm reading it, I'm like,
Liar!
No, who kept saying it was a quick read? Because I was
Emmy said, "Oh, it's a quick read. It's only 200 pages." I'm like,
oh my
and I-
God.
And that other, I would have agreed otherwise because you're right. For me, 200 pages or less is a quick read, and I'm like, okay, that's good, right?
That's what I thought because I started it later. So I'm like, oh, yeah. Emmy said it was a quick read, and afterwards it's like, oh, you have 8 hours left.
Do you know how many times? Do you know how many times I looked at the book to see what percentage I was at? And I kept saying,
I know. Because I know. I did ask Lisa last time. I was like, Lisa, what part are you on? She's like, oh, I've read a few pages. And then I think I asked her again the last time. She's like, oh, where are you? I'm like, oh, I think I'm at 4%. I was like, oh. I was like, oh, she hasn't really moved much. And then I like how you said, you're like, I'm just taking my time, so it's fresh in my mind. I was like, okay, yeah.
I was lying my ass off. I'm lying.
I literally like every time I read like a couple pages, I'm like, oh, I'm like, he hasn't moved yet. Like it hasn't moved.
What I also knew, Emmy, was because your library book had so many little
yeah.
notations. I was like, oh God, she likes the book.
Yeah, I had tabs.
It was over. I was like, holy crap, she's got all these marks.
I know
like,
this
oh,
is a
she likes
library
the book.
copy though, so I have to remove
my
it when
God.
I return it. So
So I'm like, okay,
So never listen to Emmy when she says it's a quick read because it's not a quick read. It's like I swear to God.
No,
So
it
I
was
started
not.
later because I'm like I kept thinking it was a quick read. First it was like an hour. I'm like it's gonna take me 2 hours to read the book, and afterwards like 8 hours left. I was like oh my God, like what are like. I'm like it's not a short book. I was like.
You know, I was
Excuse
at
me.
4% for the longest time. The longest time.
And you read 100 pages at 4%.
And as making progress, I would look and be like, ah, shit, only 40%.
No, I know. You
Oh
know that's
my
not a
gosh.
good sign when that's happening.
Yeah.
That's
And then I really powered through, and then like 3 a.m. I was like, okay, I can go to
no.
sleep.
So we
It's like-
went away yesterday. I told Mike I have to go home early. We have to go home early. I have like 40% left of the book. So I left from yesterday. So I read 40%. I was like falling asleep. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Is it acceptable? Is it acceptable to DNF a book club book?
I know. I didn't want to. I did not want to.
Okay,
Sorry.
quite
I
frankly,
just
I
want to
was
put it
ready to
out
make,
there.
I was ready to start a new rule. Like
No.
I was prepared to say that I think it's okay to DNF a book.
No, we cannot DNF
No,
a
no, I know.
book.
We no, we can't, and you're right. And we did, and clearly we all did.
We all
so,
powered through.
We all wanted to.
yes,
Well, except
yes.
for Emmy. Except for Emmy.
yes.
No,
We
but
haven't even heard your
yeah.
review.
I know,
Elle, I
Elle.
know.
No, but yeah,
Well, okay, okay. So, okay. Well, that was
Go.
another good thought, lady. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
So, okay. Let's just say I think. I guess you can tell now that I also feel like Lisa and Lainey. And quite frankly, I was ready to apologize to everybody for subjecting everyone to the group, but this is the beauty of it. So as it turns out, at least one
One
of us
person.
enjoyed it.
Emmy.
Yes, so
Emmy
so
enjoyed it.
so I guess I will take back that apology, and I think we're having good discussions around it, anyways. But I think I totally agree with Emmy because I think okay, let's face it, I think people who are tuning in the first time, Lainey, Elle, Lisa, and I are like big romance readers. So Emmy is the one who ventures quite a bit into all kinds of genre. So if you're not familiar with our channel, and then I think I picked this book too because I love historical romance. And I think if you tuned into our last episode, I did say that I picked historical romance because I love historical romance, but I also picked female female because I have read female female in the past, but I've not had any luck. So I thought if I read with a group that I will I will have a better experience, that will be a better book. But sadly, for me, I think I'll just put it out there. I think I this is probably the last female female romance that I will read. So in a long time. And nothing against Olivia Waite, but I think I'm learning it's not my cup. And I guess like kind of like Lisa, I guess female romance not necessarily my cup of tea.
Yeah.
And then I think on top of that, I think like you said, Emmy, this is not a historical romance per se. Like this is more historical
Right.
lesbian fiction. And I think maybe I listened to the wrong blogger or the I listened to the wrong like book reviewer who reads romance and really raved about this book because I'm the same thing. I was like, this is not really romance because I guess it is starting to make me feel better after I've been hearing, like what we've been talking about. Because I think if we take that piece out of it being historical romance, there's really a lot of enjoyable pieces, right? Like the things around astronomy, about
Yeah, and
even about
and
engraving,
and art and
right?
painting in general. Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, right, and painting, yeah, and then especially the embroidery, because I didn't even realize it was a real thing, like until you showed. I mean, like all these books were their patterns and everything, and I think even that one point when it was the Catherine's design of a gown. Olivia Waite was so descriptive. I could
Forgot to
Yes,
actually
show.
I
imagine
Sorry
the
to
enjoyed
gown,
that.
interrupt you. See this?
right? I could,
That's an embroidery book by Alabama Channon. They actually, yeah,
yes. Oh my God, I
Uh,
was thinking about you, Emmy, when I talk about the embroidery. It's like, oh, this is the Shannon.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yes.
oh, that's pretty cool. Okay.
Oh, that is. See, I think that's exactly what it is. I think, like I think in that sense, Olivia Waite did a really good job with pieces like that because I enjoyed those. But and I think Lisa, you said it too. The last 10% was good. It was a nice surprise about learning about Oloron.
Oh, little.
Oloron's uh, who sh- who the person really is, like So and that piece kind of like kept me reading. But outside of that, yes. Oh my God, I was bored. I skipped pages because
You skipped?
What? How do
yeah,
you?
oh no, not pages. I skipped paragraphs. There, does that make it feel better? I didn't skip the whole page. I just skipped paragraphs in pages when I
I skipped a few
when I felt like it
paragraphs
wasn't necessary. So I was like,
in a few pages.
What if you miss? What if you miss them having tea,
That's right. Oh
Loisa?
my
They had
gosh,
tea. How did?
that's
Maybe
so
you
true.
missed
They had
it.
tea. They
they
had
had
tea.
what?
Okay.
Had what?
Tea.
Oh my God, did I miss that? Did they have tea?
Like maybe you missed the type of scone that they had at tea.
Oh yeah, like was it peppermint? I may have missed
I
that.
know. Oh my
Um,
goodness.
and yeah, and that was the same as like like I think I mentioned it already. For such a short read, it took me forever to finish it. So, um, so I think yeah, I'm just pretty much repeating what most that all three of you have said. I mean, I agree with some pieces that you said, Emmy, and I think I am more on the Lainey and Lisa's camp around my feeling on this, just because I was really looking forward to a historical female, and like I thought it was gonna be like spicy, right? And one thing I did like about this is because we know in any female romance, there will always be around topics around female issues, and I get that, right? Because I think it's a part of the challenge, and then I think especially for lesbians, right? How it is that added challenge of being in the LGBTQ realm, right? In addition to facing like
Oh,
female issues. But I think one thing I did like about this is even throughout dealing with those, it wasn't preachy. Because I've unfortunately read some romance where like I was like, really? I mean, I am all for that, but like it felt like a lecture. It felt like education, and I mean, it's a noble effort, but it didn't land very well. But I think with this one, Olivia at least didn't she handled it like I think deftly, right? So I think that one I really like. And then the characters, interesting enough, you're right. They're for romance, they're kind of like not the best characters, but for fiction, they're okay characters. Like so like you can tell each other's motivation, right? With Catherine being an older and widowed, and then Lucy being young, and then in the science world. I think if it was not romance, I would have liked the characters
Mm.
more than I did now. But otherwise, I mean, the romance, they just like, you're right. I didn't get the connection either. So
But I
it,
find
it
there was no real problem, right? Because they're like, "Oh, I felt this," but then they would say it, and then the other person would respond. I'm like, "Okay,
But
that's
you
I
know,
fine."
agree.
Lisa, that part that you were talking about when they separated, I
It's
actually
resolved.
cried when
What?
Oh my God.
but I
Came out of
understood that because
nowhere. It
I
literally
usually
came out.
don't like that trope of misunderstanding. But then I'm like, oh, I totally get it. And they're both women, so they're kind of like, oh,
Oh,
I
good Lord.
understand. I was like, oh my gosh, I was actually like, tears.
Oh my
Well,
god.
See,
yeah,
I
there's me going,
Understand
what
it
the
now.
hell is this, right? And then I'm like, this is so
Yeah.
stupid. And then
well,
at the end,
well,
this is even stupider.
I
Why
know.
they separate?
no, I see. For me, I'm kind of in the middle, right? Not that like what the hell, but at the same time, it's like, oh, okay, because their story is like this, they
Ah,
have to kind of like do
they
it like
need.
this at
Yeah, they
least.
have to. But again, it was
I did feel
forced.
empathy. Like, I felt a little sad because of all the misunderstanding, but I
But
just thought the
okay,
whole thing
but
was
Catherine
ridiculous,
being
right? I was
jealous of
like,
Priscilla when she came, I totally understood. I was like, oh, and
no,
that's
That
I
where,
understood
but
that.
that's where the
But
conflict
to the
came
point
from
where
because they were both
but to the point
insecure,
where,
right? Like they were both insecure about the relationship, so they weren't. And at that time, the relationship really hasn't been established that long. So there's a lot of like misunderstanding, and really, like, it's like, what does she mean by that? Oh no, no, no! I was like, I understood it.
but they are but she
you know
already
what?
said
I was just
I love
like,
you.
I was just like, you two
All
just
right.
freaking talk to each other,
But they
man.
needed. I
Like,
thought that conflict
what
was
the
It's
totally
hell,
fine.
true.
right? No, it
No,
wasn't.
but there was no real. That was
I
even made up,
disagree.
though.
I
Like
mean,
I feel like
Disagree.
I wish there wasn't like. I mean, I wish somebody was like like the asshole or something.
Priscilla was the
Pris
villain.
Supposedly, they're
was
like,
your
oh, I
your
guess
favorite person. Pris
Oh,
was.
she was annoying. I
Chris,
wanted to slap her. She was so
Chris.
annoying.
You know,
Ugh.
I mean,
Arrogant.
it
She
was
was
such
very
a small
arrogant.
thing when you talked about minor characters. I mean, I was like, so did Brinkworth?
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
Ryan,
the maid. Yeah,
her, I guess her, what did they call that? Yeah, the maid she knew. But Brinkworth,
Mariah,
did
yeah.
he
Brinkworth know?
did, right?
Like,
Because
Yeah,
when
she did. He did know.
I mean, he did, but like, I think that's it though.
yeah,
That was just a
but I
tiny
like that
window. So
part
did they
though.
do
Yeah,
it
I
I
mean,
all
know.
obviously
along?
he's a butler. He sees everything. So that was a minor scene, but I actually
Yeah.
really
Yes,
like
yeah.
that when Priscilla left and then he was
I did
holding
too.
her
I
coat and
actually like that.
everything. I thought,
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
And I
But
like
even
his
that,
Eliza,
daughter
yeah.
too.
but even that, but okay, I'm not expecting. I don't know. I was expecting more conflict. Like everybody was just so accepting of it. Like is that? Like, I just feel like in that time it won't be normal. That like I mean the maid, yes, obviously because that is a part of her job. But like not like they should be judged. I don't
But
know. I just
outside
feel
of
like
the
was this
household, I don't think
realistic though
anyone
that
knew.
it's
That's true. Yeah,
yeah.
I
I
think that's what it
guess.
is.
Well, I
Yeah.
guess she
Yeah.
did point out that
Yeah.
female's a bit
Yeah,
better. It
yeah.
could be flow better than male, right? Like she did
Right.
explain.
Yeah. And it's true because I've read historical
Right.
male on male, right? And I think there's
Okay.
always it's like like it's easier for two women to be
Yeah.
seen in public
Yeah,
and not
like
just
Because even when
hugging
we
and
watch
women,
like
like
right?
Pride
holding
and
Yeah.
hands.
Prejudice, we
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
the women
Yeah.
characters like
Yeah.
arm in arm, like like really walking. So it's more
Yeah,
understandable.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess. I
Yeah.
guess.
I, I did like it. I think when Catherine, I think when the maid found out, it's like, oh great, like the first time I actually like
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
I
got
yeah.
know.
That's
caught right
right.
away. I wasn't even given time, like I was like, oh
Oh,
poor Catherine.
I did like okay, I did get tear I got okay, I did like the I don't know why I like the ending when they spoiler when she found a way
See,
for them to be
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
legally
yeah, yeah. That
bound.
was
I kind
cool.
of thought
Oh yes.
I enjoyed it. I actually got teary
See?
eyed for some reason. I was like, God,
I
finally.
did it. I did.
I actually like that it was a smart way. I like the way she made it like in a smart way for them to get legally bound, which is
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
It was cool, Olivia. It was cool.
Yeah. But I think too, because like funny, like you said, how in that during that time, um, and I've read this in like some of the even the male and male romance, like I said, historical romance, and I think this is the part why some some authors try to do the historical female, female, male, male, is because you're right. Because I guess, oh, that would have never happened. But that's the thing. In fiction, you
It's
try to
yeah.
kind of give them that piece, like that slice of happy ending, or even in that time, because you would hope that at least that there are people during that time who did find their happiness, right? Even despite what's happening at
Yeah,
that
I'm
time.
sure. Yeah, I'm
So
sure there.
yeah,
Yeah,
right. So not that it's so improbable. I'm like, oh, that would have never happened. But I think that's
I
what it is.
know.
It's just like
I just
highlighting
found
it.
it a
So
lot of it convenient. Like you know what I mean? Like it's just oh, they conveniently the mother
Oh, and
conveniently was a
thing
lesbian.
Lucy's and
so
Lucy's
she money
friend, the
too.
painter friend too, who's gay. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Oh
the
That's
painter
right.
who
that was kind
caught
of cool
them.
too
Yeah,
because he's
yeah,
gay.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
oh
I
yeah,
would
yeah.
expect it more in the art world. I would think. I feel like that
Right.
it's
Oh
a bit
yeah, because
more.
they're
Although that
more
was
open
kind of
minded,
weird.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
But
but
the
yeah.
I was
brother.
gonna say that
Oh, go ahead.
that part though, the with
No, no,
the
go ahead.
painting, I do like that was included, but because I mean, I dabble into that. Oh, that part I thought could have been done better in a way. Just anyways, but that's just a minor quibble too. So
Yeah.
like the way they're talking about,
Mm.
because she was
Oh,
so in detail about the astronomy and the
But
embroidery, but
see,
not too much on the art stuff. I think, but I guess you can't be detailed about everything. I guess so.
no, and that's more than his brother. That's
I
more
guess
his brother.
whatever.
See that his that
I don't
her
know.
thing, like
Not everybody's an expert in everything.
I know. I mean, not everybody sews or paint or like
But you but you
knit
can
and then
also
write
do
on top
research
of
anyway.
that.
Even if you don't do
Sorry.
it, you can just do your research.
Oh, there is one thing I question. Now it makes more sense. You know the painting. Why was it such a controversial painting? Because when the brother paints. Okay, spoiler. The brother paints.
What?
The bro-
No, because it revealed that it was her because she never intended for it to be
Yeah, because she was
to
using
reveal
an
herself
initial,
as the
right? Like
writer.
L, yeah,
oh,
L something.
An
oh,
initial.
see, I feel like they didn't really.
Well, funny you say
I
that,
didn't know it
Elaine.
was like a
No,
secret.
Lainey, I had to read that twice too because then she was so upset, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what did
Well,
I miss? So I had to go back. And I'm like,
Well, I felt the same way.
yeah.
oh, because it revealed that she's a woman.
But they didn't really. I wish she mentioned that they're gonna not reveal if she's a woman because they
No,
didn't. They
but
just
they
said,
did
"Oh, I'm
say
No,
using my
though.
you're
I
right.
think
They
they did say
initial."
didn't,
that.
did they? That it was.
I think.
Oh, did they?
No, she said,
No, I
"I'm
don't
gonna
think
use my
so.
initial now until I write my own theories. Then she will use her full
That's what she.
name."
Yeah, I remember that
That's
part.
what
Yeah.
she said.
But not to reveal that because she's a woman, but just
Yeah.
separate. Yes,
It wasn't implied that it was a secret identity. That's why I was confusing. I'm like,
yes.
why is she upset that the brother painted her? Like, it was
Her
And then
weird.
brother was a jerk.
I thought she forgave the brother too quickly. So it's
Her
like
brother was a jerk. He was such a.
he was, and then oh, I'm so sorry. I was just looking after you. I'm like, okay, I
I
understand.
Not
know.
really. He was not.
She's jealous. He was jealous of her. I just feel like everybody forgave everybody so quick.
I guess they're not all vindictive and like hold grudges.
Like me.
Some people.
I know, like me. If I hate you
Oh
forever.
my gosh.
And I will hold a grudge.
Don't piss off Lainey.
Do not mess with me. No.
Okay, so wait, do we do the characters first or the rating? The characters.
No,
Like,
the characters.
Did we think of any characters? Because I personally didn't. I just relied.
No,
I know
I
Emmy,
did
you
not.
hated
Oh
the cover.
yeah.
I just relied on the
But
cover.
there who I pictured.
But,
Although the Lucy, she looks like Selena Gomez for some reason. Selena.
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 I was thinking of Kate
Oh yeah, yeah.
Blanchett
They,
and
they
Rooney
made that
Mara.
movie, right?
Didn't they have a?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's
Well, I
the
haven't
same
seen that movie,
relationship,
actually, so I
sort
should
of
watch it.
like younger.
which movie is that?
I can't
Oh,
remember.
it's
the
supposed to be
title
really
now.
good. Yeah.
They did a lesbian movie?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Wait, what is
Oh.
it called? Okay, I'm gonna
Oh,
find
who
out.
came first? I wonder
Never
if that's Olivia's inspiration.
Oh.
Or
Yeah,
maybe.
that's an old movie. So I think that movie
Kate
came out
Blanchett.
first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's also
Oh,
one with
could be
What is
Kristen
it?
that.
Stewart and Julianne Moore or
See,
something, right?
but Kristen Stewart's not
Kristen Stewart?
like dark hair.
Yeah.
Oh, Kristen
It's
Stewart. I was thinking of another. Yeah.
the
Yeah,
movie
yeah,
is
Carol.
called Carol. By the way, Carol.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're actually. I
Actually,
was
would have been.
imagining them
Yeah,
the
that's a
whole
good
time.
casting. Actually. Yeah. I think it would make a good
Actually, yeah,
movie.
yeah. See, we've decided, Olivia, that I think your inspiration was Kate Blanchett and
And Bruni Mara.
Mara Rooney, right? So we'll just
Eh,
stick
wait,
with that.
But although you know
Rooney
what
Mara.
though,
What's her
like
name?
Catherine, she
Rooney
was kind
Mara,
of
whatever.
described as voluptuous, though, right? Yeah, yeah.
I know.
Oh, I
You
know,
know.
yeah, but not her. And
We
she,
don't have
but
to be
she
Kate
exact.
was
Winslet,
10 years older,
Kate
right? She's
Winslet.
10 years
You
Yes.
older.
okay? Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
okay. And
Yeah,
then
I
Rooney
who
should
was
Mara.
with
actually.
Oh,
Lucy?
Selena. Yeah.
Selena.
I
Selena
know.
Gomez.
I like saying Selena.
Selena.
I know she even said it's
Selena.
Selena. I'm like, okay, Selena. She is Spaniol,
Oh my
okay?
What else? Espanol. What's her name?
Lucy.
Oh, Lucy. Luz?
Lucy. And then was Lucy's last name. Like, it also it prevented me from really enjoying
Oh
it. It
yeah.
was like, how
That's
the
right.
hell do you
How do you
pronounce
say
her
it?
last name?
What is it?
Muccello.
I don't
Who is
know.
it?
I don't know.
Wait, they
I made
actually
it
say
Italian.
it?
Is it McCulney? Michelle? I don't know. Or
They said her last
McCulney?
name?
Michelle?
What? Hold on, let me
It's
see.
They did.
They never, did they even mention it? Oh,
yeah.
oh, that's
Muccelni.
Muchelny. Yeah, I know Muchelny's Muchelny.
Muccelni.
That
Yeah,
sounds
it is Muccelni. Yeah.
Muchelny. We have to think British. My
Is
name is
it?
Lucy Muchelny.
I guess if you put a British accent, that's okay.
Lucy Muchelny. Muchelny. It's like- But yeah, Mr.
Yeah,
Frampton, I
same.
love though. Mr. Frampton.
Yes, and then funny enough, and then Mr. Edwards. But then when they had that scene with Mr. Edwards and the wife, I'm
Oh,
like, and I was like,
Who's
who
Mr.
is Mr.
Edwards again? The villain?
Edwards?
Was he the villain?
I
I'm like,
know. No,
no,
he's the one
he
who
was
gave
the
the
one who's
talk.
married.
He's the famous astronomer already, like that.
It was like Mr. Holly or something. And then
No,
Okay, yeah,
Howley.
yeah.
Howley's the bad
Mr.
guy,
Wilby, yeah.
but Mr.
and then
Edwards is the
Wilby
one
and
who,
Wilby
yeah,
and
but
Wilby and some
but
Elven
aside,
guy.
yeah, but aside from Mr. Frampton, Mr.
Oh, I
Edwards is
don't
the
even
one who's
remember
also on
him. Oh my
Lucy's
gosh.
side.
He's the
That's
one
the
who's
thing.
like, there's a talk. He gave
And
a
those are
talk.
those are for me, strangely enough, those are the things
Oh,
that
Mr.
takes me
Edwards, the
out
one
of
who's
the
also
story. And I'm
brilliant,
like,
right? Like he's also, yeah, okay. Now I remember. Right.
Yes.
yes, yeah.
I
Yes,
actually
So
enjoyed all
right?
the fellowship moments.
Yeah.
Like,
that one was,
like
yes, you're right. Yeah.
what do they
So I
call
think,
the
I could totally see. I understand
polite
why
society? Yeah.
you I think like it, and I think, like I said, maybe that's what I should have done and just remove
Is
it
that,
as like
yeah,
take it
yeah.
out of my head that it's not romance, that is not like a thing. And then I would have enjoyed it because you're right, and
Yeah,
I
that
probably
you're
would have
right.
skipped pages, and I probably would have found out what tea they're having.
I know. And scone.
And scones, yes. And
Yeah.
if they use clotted cream or
Yeah,
not.
for sure.
Oh yeah, clotted cream.
Ooh.
Oh, anyways, okay. I guess we've that's it. We've decided. It's just Rooney Mara and Kate
Kate
Blanchett.
Blanchett.
Yes. So
Okay.
on to the rating. All right. So we will start with Lisa.
Lisa.
So I'm always the toughest of the rating person. So I'm gonna try to be gentle and just gonna give it a 2. 2 out of 10.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in
Yes.
Goodreads
Yeah,
that means
I think so.
it's okay.
Oh, it
It's
does?
all right. It
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
offend me or anything. It was just
Yeah.
really just there.
Yeah. 2
So 2.
stars it is.
Thank you. Thank you, Lisa.
All
right.
right. Well,
Emmy,
that's so
what do you
fun.
rate this?
I actually, yeah, I really did like it, and I probably will read the other authors' book. She actually has a male-female one as well. Yeah, but her covers are horrendous,
she
though.
does.
I don't know,
That.
man. Like,
Yeah, she
Oh.
does.
I'm gonna maybe just do the digital.
But then, okay, would you have preferred this thing that's happening
Oh, the
lately?
comic style?
What do you call that?
No, I don't like that either. I
anime.
think, I honestly think
Yeah,
she should have
yeah,
done something about the
I don't
astronomy. Like, I
either.
think
I
she should
don't
have
either.
done stars or,
right.
yeah,
Or
like
with the
that's all I'm
embroidery
asking.
too, right?
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah,
oh my God,
yeah.
the font of this book is also
Yeah.
pretty horrendous. Like, I don't know. Well, just because
Oh, it is. Why?
I don't know if a
She
lot
showed
of
it to me.
people
She
have
showed
read
it to me.
it, so
Yeah,
it's
I don't
not
like
as
it
dark
either.
as I would like, and it's also I just
Yeah,
didn't like the font. So But anyways, but yeah, so I sorry, I
Oh.
digress, but I really did like it. So I'm gonna give it 4.5, but on Goodreads I'll have to round it off to 4. So yeah. I
Oh,
know, yeah.
wow, that's
Ooh.
you really enjoyed
All
it.
right.
All right,
All right,
okay.
Lainey.
I was gonna give it a 2, but I enjoyed the last part. Like the last few chapters are okay, so I 2.5 though, which is still a 2. But I will mention that it's still
Dude, like, yes, it makes a difference.
it's still a 2 in Goodreads, but I would mention that it's actually 2.5 stars.
Okay. Yes. All right, 2.5 from Lady.
Okay, Elle, your turn.
If I think of the Goodreads, I think we're 3 stars saying I liked it. I honestly couldn't say that I like it, even though I know I enjoyed pieces of it, and I think it was too late, unfortunately, for me to have, I should have done what you did, Emmy, and just kind of think that this is fiction. I probably would have enjoyed it more, but it was too late. The whole time I was reading it, I was grumbling, and I was like impatient, and I was like bored, and I was like, I was like I said, I was getting impatient. So yes, I think the most I can give this is like Lisa. It's okay, so I'll give it 2 stars.
All
Yeah.
right.
All right.
All right. Okay.
So
So
I guess right. So I guess now oh oh yes, that's right. So we're moving on to our, where are we now? July. So it'll be our August read. So now it's
August
Lainey's
read.
turn, right?
So it's
So
actually like gonna be our first year, and I guess is this our first year anniversary, or my book will
Yeah.
be our first year anniversary?
No, this is our first year, I think. We started in
Oh,
Oh,
July.
did
I
we?
believe
is
yeah,
it?
wow.
it's our 12th book club, right? So it would be 1 year. 12th book club,
Oh,
one
that's
year.
true. Okay.
And
Oh
we haven't missed
yeah.
a month, right? We haven't.
No, we have not.
Well,
No.
Oh, okay. So
happy. I should have
happy
mentioned it.
anniversary.
Happy anniversary, guys. Okay, maybe I will mention something on Instagram or something. Oh, I take care of our Instagram account, and I'm very lazy, so it's not very active. But we post here and there.
She tries.
I try. It's busy. So for our 13th episode, I picked a book that is gonna be made into film soon. But none of us have read it, and it's gonna be starring Blake Lively, and I. In the book, I mean, in the movie, not in the book. You can imagine. You can imagine whoever you want to imagine. So
No, we will imagine Blake Lively. That's it.
I know. So I picked "It Ends with Us" by Colleen Hoover. Since none of us have read the book, and should we watch the movie? I mean, Elle doesn't live in our area, in our province.
When is it coming out?
But should we watch the movie?
When does it come out?
August 9th or something.
Okay.
Oh,
My God.
okay.
I mean, I guess if you three are
No.
watching it, I guess I will watch
Let's
it
not
here.
watch. I mean, you
Okay.
guys can watch it, but you
What?
shouldn't make it mandatory. No.
I
Yes,
think we
we
should
should.
watch it.
I
And
wanna.
we should compare.
I think we
then
should
can
read the book
compare our
first.
Read
book
the book.
club.
I think we should
No.
read the book first. Yeah. I don't want to.
Obviously, read the
Yeah.
book first.
Wait,
and
when does it
maybe
come out?
She
August
just
what?
said August.
9th.
She just said August.
So I
9th.
feel
we are
like
Oh, did she? I totally missed that.
so I feel like no, we'll read it, we'll give it 3 weeks, and in the last week before our book club, if it's still in the theater. Okay, well, we'll play it by ear.
No. Or unless we all read it before August 9, and then we all watch it.
What
I
does
was
it
like,
in
what if I
2
hated
weeks?
the book though? Then what if I hated the book and then I'm like, oh, now I have to watch it on top of that?
Okay, fine. Oh yeah, it's true. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, because we can't
yeah.
really talk about it either before our book club.
We're not supposed to talk
Fine.
about it. Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bobblehead with Emmy.
So
all that-
whoever likes the book and wants to watch the movie, they can. But
That's
it's
a
not
very
mandatory.
controversial pick.
Okay.
So that's good.
Okay, that's
Is
and
it?
I haven't read Coho. Like this is my first.
You know, because
Oh,
Coho, she's kind of
read, interestingly
controversial.
enough.
I mean, on and off, I
Yeah.
guess. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, yeah, I know some of
Well,
her.
I
I
didn't
I
know she
know,
has
know,
a
right?
right?
And then the
nickname.
thing
People
are
call her
cohorts,
Coho.
the fans.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. She's big,
Oh,
man.
So
really? I never heard of that.
no, I never
yeah,
heard of that either.
I know. When I first heard it, I'm like, you mean salmon, as in coho salmon? But but then I
What's
realized,
up?
oh, it's her
Oh my
name,
god.
the
It's like,
Colleen Hoover. It's like,
But what's the
Oh,
controversy? What's the
oh
controversy?
yeah,
depending on the
yeah.
book.
Depending on the book, but this is her most
The what?
controversial,
The
right?
what
I
book?
think so far. Yeah, yeah, so far.
Oh, is
So it'll be
it?
good. It'll be good. Yeah, let's not talk
Oh.
about
okay,
it.
okay, let's not talk about it
Why?
anymore.
Well,
Oh, okay,
No,
okay, no talking.
no,
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 no, not
no.
about
Bobblehead,
this book.
bobblehead.
Yeah, no, we're just talking in general because I think
No, I'm
some of her
surprised you guys
books, some
don't
people
know.
find it toxic. Um,
Elaine, especially you.
I know
No.
exactly, Lisa.
I just read Ugly Love by her. I didn't think any mind you, I can't even remember it now. I can't remember the story. But I only know because
Yeah,
the
yeah.
movie's coming out. So, okay, we'll talk about it later. So I did not. And we could talk about all the controversy and all
Yeah.
the stuff that people
On
say
our
about
next
her
episode.
in the next
Mhm.
episode.
Sounds good.
Why? This is a short one, guys.
I
Only
have
42,
56.
42
So I have
Oh.
56 minutes.
What?
Yeah, me too. I have 56.
Okay, that means it's probably 56. Sorry,
Oh,
guys.
there we go.
Technical
Yeah.
difficulties. Okay. No,
See,
it says
Yeah.
it ends with us and it starts with us. Is the next book.
I know. I
it
know.
doesn't
okay.
make sense.
But
It
actually,
doesn't
no, it
make.
does make sense with the story, I guess.
Oh, what
Okay.
happened
It
Anyway,
does
here?
make sense. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It
Okay.
does?
All right.
All
Sorry,
right.
I
Okay.
know we were saying bye
No
already.
more. No more
No more.
discussion.
No, no,
Okay,
no
okay,
more.
that's it.
Thank
All right,
you for
guys.
tuning in, and if you stayed this far, thank you. Appreciate it. Don't forget
Like and
to like.
subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.